Good morning. So for the people joining us in the room today, thank you. I'm Samantha Hardiman. I am a postgraduate student. I'm also from South Africa, so I'll be delivering another speech a little bit later on being an international student at ICMS. But today I have Dr. Leonid Petrov here with me, and he is a senior lecturer as well as the Dean of Postgraduate Students. Leonid is known to many of us as a language buffin. Just having introduced himself previously, he has cultural expertise in both North and South Korea. Am I correct in saying that? How many languages do you speak, Leonid?
Well, I usually work as interpreter and translate in 3 languages, but a few more.
Okay, working on that polyglot status.
Languages and cultures is my passion. That's why I teach cross-cultural management here at ICMS.
And so today Leonid will be presenting on our postgraduate programs. He has actually come to be a personal mentor of mine, seeing through my entire course progression whilst I was studying my master's online in South Africa due to COVID. I was stuck there, but there were many a meeting we've had where it was late night here for him or early morning for me. He made it work for me. So I feel very honored to be co-presenting with him today. I'll also be sharing my postgraduate student story later on. But Leonid, if you want to take it away for the presentation. Great.
Absolutely. Thank you, Samantha, for the introduction. And yeah, the journey has been quite remarkable because Samantha started when just coronavirus struck, and a larger part of her studies was taken during the time we were teaching online. But she joined ICMS a few terms ago when we moved to teaching in a hybrid form, so some students sit in the classroom and some study online. And it's my pleasure today to talk about ICMS as the Australian leader in career-focused education. Samantha is currently doing industry training with one of our industry partners, and she'll probably talk more about her experience after my presentation. So please keep your questions for that moment. And I would like to introduce ICMS vis-a-vis large public universities. When students come and make the choice and think about the studies, they usually compare ICMS, which is a high education private provider, with bigger universities. So what are the pros and cons? ICMS, like any accredited university in Australia, is providing the graduating students with internationally recognized degree or qualification, but there's more than that. And at ICMS, by the time you graduate, you will have a fully employable resume or CV, which will also prominently feature referees, professional referees, which you will get knowing through your last 2 terms of studies with our business partners. Also, students have strong experience of, or global experience through learning from the lecturers who've worked, studied, and traveled abroad. And of course, professionalism. It's something what our students take pride of. We teach how to be professional, how to act, speak, and look professional, so including the professional attire, something which is mandatory at ICMS for staff and students. And of course, it's a flexibility which ICMS is providing, and flexibility is multitude, right? It's flexibility of choice, of place, location. We currently on Manly campus, but we also have a city campus in the middle of Haymarket, downtown Sydney, Pitt Street, where some students who have jobs and probably reside in western part of Sydney find much more comfortable to travel to. Also, it's a pattern of study, which some students can take daytime classes or night classes, particularly on the city campus, time, and even the format, the modality of classes is also different. We teach face-to-face, we teach online, and as I mentioned, hybrid classes. It's something what many students prefer because if they need to, particularly domestic students, if they have a busy time schedule, if they need to travel occasionally, they can also catch up with the classes asynchronously, because the material which is delivered in real time is also available in our systems for students to catch up later. Online studies, that's what we have been doing during the 2 years of pandemic, but we learned a lot, and we found that online studies actually has some advantage for students who are already employed, those students who potentially need an opportunity to study at their own pace. Access to support framework infrastructure here at ICMS is equal in Manly and in the city. Student Success Center, which is located in Kelly House, also provides the functions of a wellness team. We really care about our students' physical and mental well-being, and students with special needs, or students who need advice in terms of numeracy or academic skills, also find this Student Success Center very helpful. Another program which is run by Student Success Center is called PULSE. It's a professional learning assistance service which is populated by senior students like Samantha, for example, students who excel in a particular area, economics, accounting, always happy to share their time, volunteer, and work with junior students who just joined the ICMS postgraduate program in order to mentor and help them with assignments. Well, we believe that our classes are kind of boutique experience for students, so that's why we cap our classes by 30 students. We believe that it's important for students to have an opportunity to ask questions, and also to be challenged by lecturers and participate in small group work, either in class or in a hybrid form. Sometimes students who sit in the classroom collaborate with online students, perhaps elsewhere, South Africa, South America, South Australia. Guest speakers, guest lecturers also often come to our campus, but these days many guest speakers, and also we have professional lecture series program which is shared across the whole campus. Postgraduate, undergraduate, and staff members participate and join and learn from international stars, industry leaders who are happy to share their knowledge and expertise with our students who one day potentially may join their business, their enterprise. So our students are very happy about this focus on their future profession. Our students really look forward to be placed in one of ICMS business partners, industry partners. We have a special department, Work Integrated Learning Department, which Virginia represents today. Perhaps if you have any questions about work integrated learning, you can ask later, but the number of our industry partners is growing, and it's not limited by Australian companies, it's also overseas. Some students may take work integrated learning, it's a euphemism for internship. They can take this experience overseas if they prefer. As long as the company which they take is approved by the Work Integrated Learning Department and fits their chosen degree of studies and chosen specialization. Our alumni, like Alejandro here, for example, our former student, set up their own businesses, and Black and White waiters also welcome students, postgraduate students, to work as managers. And when we place our students, they really can have an opportunity to demonstrate their professionalism, their knowledge, expertise, everything what they've learned in theory in the class, they demonstrate in real time with real customers and got real experience. And by the end of their studies, they have already their resume full of referees' contact details, and also the examples of their professional work, not only study. So talking about the studies, the program is structured in the way where we offer in the postgraduate space 4 master's degrees and 4 graduate certificate qualifications. The graduate certificate of business, for example, is embedded qualification into the master and a few master programs like Master of International Business or Master of Management, which I'll be talking more later. But now let me say a few words about the postgraduate degrees and certificates. And also I'd like to remind you that according to the Quilts Way of 2020, ICMS has been nominated and actually got the first place among higher education providers for the quality of teaching postgraduate students. It's particularly in management and commerce. We're very proud of it, and that's why majority of our degrees are focused on management and commerce. So graduate certificate in business is the first qualification which many students take before moving further to masters. Some may actually stop at that stage. It's an exit degree. It's where 4 subjects can be taken. It's economics and accounting, marketing, and cross-cultural management. So students usually take those 4 subjects in the first 2 terms of their studies. But some domestic students potentially may accelerate their studies and do it just in 1 term. All they need is just the special permission for accelerated studies. Study overload can be approved, and then it can be done faster. It's a graduate certificate of business, which leads to a degree in either international management, Master of International Management, or Master of Management, or Master of Management with a specialization like tourism and hospitality. So it's a graduate certificate of business is recognized by Australian government at the level 8, or according to Australian framework qualification framework, and it offers students the subjects which basically any entrepreneur must have. As I mentioned, it should be accounting and economics. But graduate certificate of event management is offers a very separate set of 4 subjects. Students who are already practicing event operations may top up their bachelor degree with graduate certificate of event management by studying media management, tourism and hospitality, marketing, and the 2 more subjects which are focused on strategic management of international events or business event management and associations knowledge. So 4 subjects may be enough for some, but if they decide to go further with masters, they're welcome to do so. That will be AQF level 9. Business, graduate certificate of business in media and marketing is a combination of grade cert of business and grade cert in event management, because one of the subjects, particularly economics, is replaced with media management. And students again may choose later on and decide which masters they can do, because we have a block credit arrangement which permits them to do so. Of particular popularity these days is graduate certificate of business in tourism and hospitality marketing, which offers the media subject, or tourism, hospitality, and marketing subject instead of accounting. Those who want to study more of business, they are welcome to take this particular program. And of course, there are 4 master's degrees. Altogether, master's students study 12 subjects, followed by 2 industry training subjects with the placement in our partner organizations. 12 subjects usually spread across 2 years. Students can study online and study face-to-face. And upon graduation, there's plenty of opportunities in Australia and overseas where students of international business can work as consultants, multinational corporations. They can work, students, for example, specializing in event management may enjoy the quick spike in events after the end of pandemic. Australian event sector is revitalizing and growing very fast. And students of Master of Management are generalists who are welcome to get employment in private or government enterprises at either local, state or federal level. Tourism hospitality is now most coveted and very popular degree where students operate in Australia, overseas, online, work as consultants, tourism hospitality managers, room, food and beverage, various sectors of this specialization. If you are interested in joining ICMS, a few words about the admission criteria. We offer the opportunities for anyone who completed a bachelor degree or equivalent, overseas equivalent. We also welcome students who, please join us, students who might have other non-award studies, for example, 4 subjects at diploma or advanced diploma level, plus work experience. Even if students who have worked for 4 or even 5 years at the managerial level in a company might also be accepted. And of course the English language requirements, if you studied in Australia before, that would verify your English level, but international students must demonstrate IELTS or TOEFL results, IELTS 6.4 for graduate certificate or IELTS 6.5 level for direct entry to the masters. So when we start, well, ICMS has 3 major trimesters in February, in May and August. Next trimester is starting just in a couple of weeks' time. And also the mid-term entries in March, July and October. We also have a summer term in December. Well, ICMS has a wonderful infrastructure, beautiful campuses, Manly and City, but students love ICMS also for its personalized approach, internationally admired and renowned lecturers, expertise, and the support infrastructure which we provide here. I believe Samantha is probably the best person to talk more about the student journey at ICMS, and I welcome Samantha to share her experience.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Leonid. So I'm just going to stand over here. I know it's like a small class, but that's what we like, small classes, personalized learning, going to the theme. So I'd like to share my student journey with you. So I, first of all, want to address why a postgraduate degree. When I was in South Africa, I had qualified with a bachelor's degree in marketing and communications. However, for about 8 months, I struggled to find a job because I didn't have any work experience that was relevant to what I was looking for. I was looking to get into multinational corporations and consultancies, and eventually landed up in logistics, which I now have a great appreciation for, having done a module in logistics. But going back to why I decided to do a postgraduate degree was initially to have that pathway into having a higher qualification, because that's what mattered when I was in South Africa. When I was looking at perhaps doing a postgraduate in South Africa, nothing really tickled my fancy, and to be honest, I didn't really see myself staying there. So then I looked globally. I decided on 3 countries, which was England, Canada, and Australia, and ultimately decided on Australia because of ICMS, because of the incredible experience I had with, from the get-go, from the recruitment department to Dr. Leonid to everyone in the Student Success Center. It was, honestly, I felt like they were holding me in their hands and nurturing me throughout, which, being both an international student and a postgrad student, I really felt like I needed that extra care.
And perhaps work integrated learning department too.
I'm getting there, don't you worry about it. So first of all, the admissions process. So because I was overseas, there were a bunch of documents that I needed to submit, but I had the most incredible personalized care, specifically by my country manager, Sean Palmer. So ICMS is different because most of the times, now this is more to international students, but I feel like you're from New Zealand, right? Yeah, so you would sometimes have to go through an agent in your country who would then go speak to the university. Whereas ICMS is a higher education institute, they actually employ agents. And so, for example, the head of international students, he would then get somebody to go and specifically be positioned in your country. So someone who knows how difficult it can be with delayed visas or delayed police clearances or things like that. That was my experience, and it was just so helpful. So I picked ICMS out of any other institution here because from the get-go, I had the most incredibly nurturing people taking care of me from the get-go, whereas some of your other higher education institutions which I encountered, it was very much, you're just a number, you're there to get the piece of paper and be pushed out. So my priority was that nurturing nature, and then my other priority was graduating with work experience, and not just some random experience that I had, gotten from a friend's parent, because that's typically how it happens. And then you land up doing something that you really don't enjoy. So credit to ICMS and the World team, which I'll touch on shortly, for actually meeting with you long before you come to your industry training, and they find out all about what you enjoy. So for me, I love marketing and events and wanted to work with students, and they found me a role that would suit that exactly. So I just want to touch back on postgraduate courses. So I decided to do a postgraduate initially in a Master of Management. However, as my course progressed, I changed to a Master of International Business. Core modules included marketing, accounting. There was managing in a global context, which I seriously enjoyed because every class, because the postgraduate student cohort is so international, I was learning all about Japanese cultures and Nigerian cultures. And even though my home country is so multinational, everyone's still very much South Africanized, whereas here it was people from China telling me about how management is in their country and time, the context of time. I always laugh because I'm always on African time, whereas other people are so super punctual. And it's so important if you're wanting to work in a big multinational company to have that context and that background.
Networking is important, so students, learning from students and even lecturers benefit from this.
Totally. So now I'm very proud to say that I've got friends from Japan, from Nigeria, America, Brazil. I know a lot of people from all around the world. So it's those friends that I've made and that cultural connection. And then also with my lecturers, they've just been incredible. So my previous experience was, if I emailed the lecturer, typically I wouldn't actually have a response, when I was studying at a different tertiary institution. Whereas because they're keeping the classes here so small, they're actually able to give each individual student a lot of attention. And let's say, for example, it's something where peer-to-peer learning is encouraged. That's when the PALS system comes into play. So that's peer-assisted learning. So I've benefited from peer-assisted learning, and I've also been able to give back, sort of helping students where maybe they're a bit shy to ask a lecturer, or maybe they just didn't understand something a lecturer explained. That's great. In saying that though, the lecturers, the postgrad lecturers are incredible. Just such superhuman, awesome people. One of my favorite lecturers was doing his PhD in robotics, and every single class he has a new podcast to recommend, a new self-help book, and then some incredible restaurant in Haymarket that you just have to try. And this is the thing about being a postgrad student, is I've really got to know all of the little restaurants in Chinatown and Thai Town and Virginia. You're based there, so we know. So yeah, it's an incredible experience doing postgrad. now I'm going into my second term of industry training. So how it works is basically once you're done your academic modules, then you go into the world team and they do industry training 800, level 800, and they basically prepare you for interviews, they get your CV ready for you, they find out all about your particular interests. So some people want to go work at a sports stadium, or some people love Disney, or, you know, so it's very, very different. But Virginia, who's sitting here in the front row, we've had a couple conversations of me saying, I'm not quite sure, but let's cast the net wide. And, you know, they run to all their hundreds of industry connections and then come back with feedback and then connect you with the right people. So it's super, ICMS is that in. You know, sometimes you just need that one person to introduce you, and it's really great because ICMS guides you along the way and they give you the tools. And so many of our assignments aren't just, oh, here's a textbook, go study it and then write a test. That's not, you're not shaped that way at all. How you're actually shaped is you have to work with local businesses and you have to give presentations. I think every module has presentations, and even though sometimes you might be like, oh my gosh, another presentation?
Individual or group?
Yeah, individual and group. So that's why I think also being here has built my confidence greatly since attending ICMS, because I can stand and present to you guys, and I can stand and present to, you know, plenty of people who I might not have met, but I've been given the confidence through this. What I'd like to sort of finish off on here is the number of opportunities here are just incredible. I am such a yes woman. I say yes to everything. So whilst being here, I was unfortunately stuck in South Africa for majority of my postgraduate course. Borders were closed, so I couldn't really get here as much as I tried, but ICMS tried time and time again. They were one of the only higher education institutions to try sign up to a pilot program to get international students back. They tried absolutely everything whilst trying to get students back on campus. They were trying to make our learning experience online the absolute best. So that included so many Kahoots and interactive guest lecturers too. So I love that. But in saying that, the opportunities that have come my way just by attending ICMS, we have masterclasses on pretty much every month now. So with industry leaders from people from Destination New South Wales, like Steve Cox. We had Alex Perry here recently for the fashion students. We had Neil Perry. So we've had some really awesome people. We've got a women in business panel coming up, a sports panel. So if it interests you, you just need to be around. And because you're elevated to such a high level with ICMS, you're recognized by those people of being of a certain standard and a certain quality. So it's very easy to have that intro to them. So yeah, so I am super grateful to ICMS for every opportunity that's come my way.
Perhaps Samantha, you can tell us about your experience with ICMS postgraduate scholarship.
Scholarship, yes. So I am a recipient of the Postgraduate Innovation Scholarship, and basically that took a huge chunk off my fees. I will say this, that ICMS is so competitively priced, if not better than most higher education institutions, even for postgraduate students, and through showing your initiative through bursaries and scholarships, a lot can come off your fees. So the process was very, very easy to apply for. So all I did was I went onto the website. If you have a look at the scholarship section, so both new students and current students, both undergrad and postgrad, can get a scholarship at ICMS. And to apply for it, I had to write an innovative idea. So my idea was basically reconnecting with our alumni, which is something we're now implementing at ICMS. And yeah, I applied. I had a bunch of interviews. People wanted to get to know me, get to know what I'd done for ICMS. So I made mention of the fact that I was on the SRC, I was a brand ambassador, I was a peer-assisted learning assistant. So I did a fair share to get there, but it significantly helped me, and it looks amazing on my CV that I've also received that scholarship.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, so I think what I want to do now is open the floor to some questions, and maybe, Leonid, if there's something that I hadn't touched on, we can go through that. Does anybody have a question to raise?
Yes, Samantha is MC, so it's in your hands.
Yeah. Any questions about admissions? Why are you guys here today? Was it just like another session, or you didn't want to hear about sport? I've never seen you before. Hey, can I give you the mic?
Sure.
There you go.
Hi, I'm not used to talking to a mic. I've just come just to restart thinking about postgraduate studies. So
Okay.
First beginnings of thoughts of seeing what postgraduate options there are.
Yeah, I know you missed the first bit
Yeah.
of the session. Was there a particular course that you were interested in?
No, I just had to say
Okay.
available as they
Yeah.
sent me to the wrong place, and I started
Oh dear.
looking for the undergraduate fashion design.
Oh dear. Yeah, so Dr. Petrov's the perfect person to speak to.
Happy to talk to. If Samantha, you can find the slides. So
Yeah,
in
sure.
the middle of presentation about the masters. Are you interested in going straight to masters, or you would like to take, say, 4 subjects of graduate certificate of business, event management, or something?
Interested in either. I have an undergraduate degree, a business degree from UTS that I never really used. So I finished quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
And want to see.
So you've done your bachelor.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so you're in the right place.
Yeah.
And that's the good slide.
Is that the right
to
slide?
Talk about it. Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. So I'll just quickly recap on the master's degrees we have. We have 4 master's degrees, master specializations, master of management, master of management, tourism, hospitality. So it's a separate, same degree with specialization. Master of event management and master of international business, which Samantha is pursuing.
Mm-hmm.
So which one would you prefer?
Not even entirely sure.
Okay, that's good. That's a good answer, because we have graduate certificate of business, which is inbuilt in basically every, it's embedded in every master program. So in the first couple of terms, you can make your decision. And first terms, you will be studying economics and accounting, marketing and managing the global context. Then you decide whether your passion is for international business or tourism, hospitality, or maybe events. No, actually with events, you still can move towards the events program, the specialization, but there will be slightly different subjects. We can recognize that. So the first 2 terms while you're doing the graduate certificate of something is perfect. And you're obviously a native language speaker, so you don't need to provide, TOEFL or IELTS proof. So it will be easier for you, but still you will learn a lot of things, because our program is designed for global leaders. We want our students to be able to operate in any environment, online, remote countries, frontier markets, Australian environment. So as long as you have a passion for business, as long as you would like to dedicate your time, and if you understand that's what you like to do, you are in the right place, and we will find you even the assessments are going to be slightly adjusted to your interests. So our students have the freedom of choosing topics of their particular interest based on their background or their passion.
And so is the graduate certificate, you'd start that's the same beginning?
Absolutely. So the graduate certificate of business, for example, is for, say, graduate certificate of, I'll just show you the graduate certificate of events, and the previous one is the graduate certificate of business. So this is a generalist entry point. 4 subjects, as I said: marketing, accounting, economics, and graduate certificate, and global management. It starts February, May, and August, like in the next couple of weeks. We have August term. It goes for, well, if you want to accelerate, you can probably do it in 1 term if you demonstrate that you have already studied at bachelor level successfully. Then, but usually it's for the 4 subjects can be taken in 2 terms, right? So it's 6 months of studies. And it's an internationally recognized qualification. So if you decide to stop there, that's fine. You will graduate with graduate certificate of business, unless you want to have some specialization, graduate certificate of business and media and marketing, or graduate certificate of tourism, hospitality, marketing. So there's a slightly different combination of subjects, but definitely majority of students take the same 4 subjects, which lead them to a variety of master degrees.
And if you want to carry that on to the masters, that already
it will be recognized. Those 4 subjects will be credited towards your master's degree of your choice. Usually we encourage students to start towards masters, but if later on they decide to stop at some stage, they can exit with graduate certificate of business even if they haven't completed masters.
Yeah. I think if there's any further questions, I mean, one of the greatest resources, which I don't think a lot of people actually consult, is our website. So if you want to see maybe someone who's done a graduate certificate or let's say a postgraduate, a Masters of International Business, you can actually look at our Hall of Fame and people there who now, for example, work at the Langham, the Sheraton, another alumni, Fernando Motti of Motti and Smith Events, who's actually a scholarship sponsor of ours. He shared his story there. I think there's hundreds of stories just to see sort of, you know, what people are doing, what their experience was, which I always find useful. Like I always like to say to people, okay, well, the pamphlets and brochures are great, but what was your experience? And that's why I keep emphasizing the mentorship that you get at ICMS is so different in comparison to any other higher education institution that I've experienced, because they really want you in your personal life to succeed. Like our motto is big enough to connect you, small enough to connect with you. And it's testament to the huge span of industry connections, but also that personalized connection that you go everywhere. So you might start on a grad cert, but then you might say, you know what? I seriously want to do entrepreneurship, or like the electives are also incredible. So it's really great if you have a look on the website too. Yeah, but I think that's all we have time for today. If you have any further questions, Dr. Petrov will be at the postgraduate stand, and then you can ask
level 1.
Mm-hmm. Level 1. But thank you so much, Dr. Petrov, and thank you guys in the room for joining us today.
Thank you for coming, and special thanks to Samantha, who exemplified the success of ICMS and being the leader in professional focused education. And also, you're absolutely right, mentioning our mission and vision. So we work to educate our students for their personal success and their professional life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.